seat. And they kind of caught me. I was like, whoa, man, she's got a story. And so that's when her and I kind of started. I've known her for about a year and a half, but that's when we really started the conversation about, hey, what is it like for you to be a speaker partner with us? I'd love for you to come. I was like, I got more out of what she did than I thought I was going to. I was a little surprised. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to stand to your feet. Give a huge Create Conference welcome to my friend, Mallisa Jackson.
Thank you guys so much. And Ken, thank you so much for putting this together. This is and has been my dream, my mission for an extremely long time. Now, I know I'm young, so you look at me when I say that and you're like, what the hell, Mallisa? You've been dreaming of this since you were 5? And to that I say, basically yes. So I want to share with you guys my mission statement, not because I want to talk about myself, not because I'm just here to think I'm awesome, but because I hope that you can understand your own mission statement, your own why. Because every single one of you, you're in this room, in this conference, for a reason. And I've met a lot of you guys in the hallways. I've talked to a lot of you guys yesterday in the dinner before, and I know every single one of you is meant for greatness. And I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. I'm almost sharing the story with you guys because I've never given it to a live audience before. This is never a conversation. This was never a topic that I was going to talk about, but in connecting with you guys, connecting with the other speakers, and being moved by their message, I knew Source, God, whatever it is that you want to call it, was telling me that I needed to share the story. And it's going to make me a little emotional. I may or may not cry. But the thing about it is this. If your why does not make you cry, it is not your why. I'm going to say that again because I want to make sure you get it. If your why does not make you cry, it is not your why. So let me share you guys mine, and maybe in my story you can kind of connect as well and figure out what yours is. Because as soon as you figure out what that is, it doesn't matter what the hell life throws at you. You will conquer every single obstacle, every single setback in the economy, in your health, in your marriage, in your friendships, whatever it is, as soon as you know what you as a person stand for. What is your mission statement? So I came from a lot of adversity, you guys. I was self-educated from the age 9 up. I grew up in extreme violence. My first bedroom was a closet, and I was happy as hell to be in that closet. I was up in that closet like Harry Potter, but I was pumped about it. Before that, I slept in a sleeping bag on the kitchen floor next to a broken refrigerator that was infested with mice. And I would have to zip up my sleeping bag as much as I possibly could to try to avoid them being able to get into it every single night. And the last thing I was taught by my guardians was how to multiply fractions. And I remember being told by one of them, he said, you better graduate by the time you're 16 or I'm going to make your life an ever-living hell. And I was like, it can get worse than this? Damn. So I didn't have any access to tutors. No one even knew who I was outside of my family. I was kept a secret because of what was happening in my household. I literally had no one to rely on but myself. And at that particular moment, at the age of 14, is when I realized that my story was not just about me, it was about other people. And when that happened was this. At the age of 14, I was home alone. We lived in a 700 square foot house, filthy as all hell. And I was on a 2-week-long fast. I was anorexic and bulimic, and the only thing I ate for 2 weeks was pickles and mustard. People ask, why pickles and mustard? It's a pretty disgusting combination. The reason why is because it didn't have any calories. And I tried many times before this time to end my life. I was unsuccessful in doing so, but this time it took way more than it ever had. And I overdosed on diet pills. And I could tell that this time was different. I could tell that this time it was taking, because I could feel my lungs closing in on me. I could feel my heart pulsating out of my chest. I could feel my my body completely shutting down on me. I could feel it happening. And I started to ask myself this question, and I want you guys to ask yourself this question. I started asking myself, what does my decision, what does my action say to other people? If people were to read my obituary, if I actually died from this experience, what would I be telling people? That if they're told that their life is pointless, that they're going to die, or that they should die, that they should believe the person that is telling them that? What are you deciding? What are you telling people with your decision? And I want you guys to ask yourselves that as well. If you're thinking about quitting your business, what are you telling people that may be going through the same challenges as you? If you're scared to write that book, what are you telling people that they should do with your actions by you not writing that book? You are making a leadership decision with how you act. And it was at that moment that I realized, hey, I don't want to say that. I don't want people to think that if they're told that their life is pointless, that they should believe it. I want to fight viciously to make something great out of this experience. I'm going to fight viciously to make sure that my legacy, my obituary, is one of love and light and not one of self-destruction or destruction external of me. So I tried to stand up, but I couldn't. I couldn't stand up because my legs were quivering so much. So I slowly rolled myself on my stomach and I crawled from the living room to the kitchen floor. And I remember viciously trying to get those pills out of my system. And as soon as that was done, I knew I need to start eating something to absolve and take in the toxins that I wasn't able to get out. So I reached up, because I couldn't stand up, onto the kitchen counter, and I pulled down that loaf of bread and I started inhaling it. And I remember opening the refrigerator. I don't even know what I ate, but I remember passing out and going in and out of consciousness, leaned up against the refrigerator with the refrigerator door open. And I said this, I said, God, if you let me live through this, I'm going to be the best damn version of myself for myself. I'm going to show people that they can do anything that they put their minds to, regardless of other people's opinions, limitations, or oppressions, and that hurt people, and that doesn't make them right. And this is a mission statement that I came up with at the age of 14, and it is ingrained word by word in my mind. And it's that mission statement that gives you honor. It's that mission statement that gives you strength. It's that mission statement, whatever it is for you, that is going to make it so you are indestructible. What do you stand for? I've been able to consult with some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies in the world. Strategic planning with sitting in boardrooms, strategic planning for huge Fortune 500 companies. I've done over $350 million in business, self-educated from the age 9 up, got 2 degrees, went to college while working 4 different jobs. I've done a crap ton of stuff. And the reason why is because this mission statement. The adversity didn't go away. And I'm sorry, bad news, it's not going to go away. But even better news, you get to make something beautiful out of it, if you decide to. So I started viciously attacking the weaker version of myself. I started going and I fought to make it so I could save enough money to get a new GED book that wasn't 6 years old. And I fought and I got multiple jobs, and I fought for my independence, and I became self-sustaining, paying my own rent at 15 years old. I fought every single day with that. And that is how I did it. A lot of people, they look at me, they're like, how have you done the things that you've done? And the reason why, and the only reason why, is because I made a mission statement and I made a commitment. And you can break a commitment with a lot of people. Like, you shouldn't, but you can. You sure as hell shouldn't break a commitment with God. Let's be honest. So for the rest of my life, up to the age of 25, I broke down so many barriers. I worked up to 4 jobs, like I said, putting myself through college. And at the age of 25, I bought the dream house. Now, let's be honest, the dream house was a dream house for somebody that used to sleep on the floor. Like, it wasn't a gigantic mansion looking back, but it was my dream house at that time. And I bought the dream car. And I quit the last night job. The last night job was waiting tables at the Cheesecake Factory. And I finally built my first business up enough to be able to sustain myself. And I thought this. I made it. I made it. Here's what I want you guys to understand. The moment that you think that you've made it in life is the moment that you will lose everything. Want to make sure you guys get that. The moment that you think that you have arrived, that you have made it in life, is the moment that you lose everything and life will punch you in the face. Why? Because you're too focused on the destination versus the character traits that you need to develop to maintain that success. If you're super worried about, hey, I need to be off this diet, or I need to lose X amount of weight, you're too focused on the end goal so you can go back to who you used to be. The person that you used to be isn't the person that created that success, so you're gonna lose it every single damn time. You need to maintain that success. And if you study a lot of people, there's this thing where people say, oh, I'm just scared of being successful. And a lot of people think that's BS, but it's true. The reason why it's true is because getting successful is easy. Maintaining the success is not so easy because you have to continue to be that person. So at the age of 25, I was like, hey, I made it. This is it. Yeah, I can go ahead and take weekends off like everyone said I should. I should take it easy and not work so much, and I should chill a little bit and enjoy my life, even though I wasn't enjoying any of the activities that they told me that I should enjoy, but I should go ahead and change who I am, and because I've made it. Now it's time to take it easy. And I tell you this, not once again to talk about myself, but because I want to lead by example. That's what the mission statement is to lead by example, right? 2 months later, January, 2 months later, the very next year, I couldn't remember how to get home. My right hand, and I'm right-handed, wouldn't open all the way. My right foot was curling up, and I was dropping everything. I couldn't even remember how to spell my name sometimes. And I sat in this cold, dark doctor's office where this neurosurgeon looked at me very apathetically, like he was wasting his time with some 25-year-old girl talking about her migraines. And they started doing this nerve testing on me, because I always had these migraines, I just didn't know why. We started doing this nerve testing on me, and the whole morale changed so quick. And he looked at me, he's like, when did you have a stroke? You show the symptoms of somebody who had a stroke. When did you have a stroke? You have nerve damage, you have brain damage. You look and show the symptoms of somebody who had a stroke. And it was at that moment that I knew I sure as hell didn't make it. That I was going to have to fight and continue to grind, and that I was going to have to fight for my own life. And what they found out is I have an incurable neurological disorder called Chiari malformation. And what that is your brain does not physically fit into your skull. Meaning every single time that my heart would beat, my brain would be beating into my skull. And I needed to get brain surgery. They were terrified to do the brain surgery on me though, because just a couple weeks beforehand, same state, same doctors, they did the surgery on a 19-year-old girl that had a brand new baby, and she was brain dead. I was terrified. And I remembered that I didn't really have a choice though, because what I was doing was eventually going to kill me one way or another. I had to get this surgery. So I started driving to the doctor's appointment at 5 a.m. And I'm here to tell you that there was a lot of pain in those surgeries. I had that brain surgery, and I had 11 additional surgeries within a 2-year-long period to save my life. And a lot of that was really painful. But nothing was more painful than the drive to that hospital room, knowing that that could be my last day, knowing that I left my potential on the ground, knowing that in an external's perspective that I had been successful or that I had fulfilled my obligation, but deep down you can bullshit a lot of people, but you can't bullshit yourself. And I knew I was taking it easy. I knew that I was pulling back. I knew that I was taking the unsolicited advice that so many people had told me that I should play small and take the weekends off. I knew that this, what I'm doing right here, and this is what I did with Floyd Mayweather's event, and the one I did with Bethany Frankel, and the one that I did with Elena Cardone, this story and this message was my mission, and that I wussed out because I was scared of what other people thought about me. And I'm here to tell you that I've been through a lot of pain, and I've been through a lot of shit. I still struggle with chronic illness. I'm still bedridden all of the time. I've been in a lot of pain for almost all my life. But there's nothing that hurts more than knowing that you were meant to do something great with your life, and that you let other people's opinions hold you back from executing fully on that. And I want you to know that. Because you deserve to see what your life would look like if you gave it your all. One of my favorite quotes by Eric Thomas, he is one of the biggest motivational speakers that I studied when I first got into it. He said, you deserve to see what your life looked like if you gave 120. And then he says, and we deserve to know what your life would look like if you gave 120. This isn't just about you, you guys. Your success isn't just about you. One of my favorite things that John Maxwell said, I think it was either Thursday night or yesterday, he said, I'm not worried about transactions. He's like, I change countries. You are meant to do the same. You're meant to change countries. Your success is here to create a ripple effect that will change the world. And I want to empower you to do so. I know the fear of rejection is devastating. I know the fear of failure is devastating. But we deserve to see the gifts that are in you that you may be too terrified to share. Because we believe in you. I've talked to a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys are some of the smartest, most loving people I've ever seen, and this is by far one of the best audiences I've ever seen because you're leaning into every single thing. We deserve to see your greatness, and I want to encourage you guys to do so. So after all of those surgeries, I could do a lot more things, but I couldn't be upright for more than 3 hours at a time without blacking out after 12 surgeries back to back. So every single day I would get up and I'd be like, this is gonna be the day that I'm gonna change everything, and then I'd black out. Be bedridden for about 3 more days. And what changed everything was I re-tapped into that life purpose and that life mission statement. And it was like, okay, listen, I can't go back to who I was before this adversity happened. A lot of people are like, hey, I wanna go back to how things were before COVID. Or I wanna go back to how things were before the economy crashed in 2008. You can't go back. But you're a stronger and better person now. And you need to figure out how to develop that adversity to make it so it is your superpower, so that it is your weapon, it is your gift that you give to the world. So it's like, okay, I can't go back to who I used to be before the adversity happened, but good news, I can build the new Mallisa. I can build the next version of myself that's gonna be able to fulfill that commitment, that promise, that mission statement every single time. This condition that I have, even after the brain surgery, can be spontaneously fatal. But I'm on this stage right now knowing that I could die tomorrow and I have no damn regrets about it at all. And I want that for you guys. So it's like, okay, I can't change everything overnight. So what did I do? I started implementing a habit a week. I'm like, there's one small thing. There has to be the ability in which I can improve one small thing to build the new Mallisa, one small habit that I could focus on that is going to transform my life. And if I can do it week by week, that I can build the new version of myself. I'm a huge Will Smith fan. One of my favorite quotes by Will Smith is he says, you don't set out to build a wall. You don't set out and say, I'm going to build the biggest wall possible. What do? You lay a brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. And eventually you look up and you have a wall. That's what I did. I picked a habit a week, and I compounded it week by week for 2 years straight. Now I've done over $350 million in business. I've done a 100-mile bike race. Chronic illness is still there. I've auditioned for The Voice and got eliminated immediately, but I did it anyways. I've been able to do a lot of amazing things. I have 3 different companies. I'm the top producer in my state for one of my companies. Like, you can build the new version of yourself that can create these things. You just need to be intentional with what you're doing and what you're building and what your mission is that you're building for. And that is the unlock. You're not going to change everything overnight. And what I want to encourage you guys to do is knowledge without execution. I want you guys to understand this and write this down. Knowledge without execution is treasonous to your potential. Let's say that again so you write it down. Knowledge without execution is treasonous to your potential. So I want you to pick something. We're wrapping up a 2-day conference with some of the biggest freaking names that there are out there. Some of the biggest people that have played on the biggest stages, that have coached some of the biggest football teams, so many different things. I want you guys to pick one thing that you have learned this week and implement it. Don't wait till Monday. Don't sit there and procrastinate. Pick one thing. Maybe it's having a good morning routine, like Mike said previously. Maybe it's not checking your social media first thing. Maybe it's going to the gym for the first time. I know the first time that I got in shape, I was freaking terrified with it because I'd be bedridden all the time by working out, but I knew it was a necessary evil. That's how I got it, working up to 18 hours a day. There's one thing that you know that you have been running from that I want you guys to pick. What's one nugget that you're like, hey, I really hate doing cold calls? You probably need to do some cold calls then, huh? Let's be real. So I want you guys to pick one thing. Pick one thing that's going to help you be stronger. Pick one thing that you learned at this conference and execute on it. Because that is going to be the thing that's going to change your life, that's going to make it so your mission statement vibrates and connects with other people so that your self-confidence is radiating at another level because you know you're putting things into action. You're no longer procrastinating. You're no longer sitting there and waiting for the perfect moment. Pick one small thing. And I'll give you a couple of the habits that I did when I was rebuilding everything. So my first habit was waking up at 5 a.m. And when you're in a lot of pain, sometimes, I don't know if you guys struggle with chronic pain, feel free if you'd like to raise your hand if you struggle with chronic pain. I see a couple hands raised. When you're in chronic pain, the last thing you want to do is wake up because everything hurts. It doesn't hurt sometimes when you're asleep. And I would sit there and I'd hit the snooze button for like 4 hours. And my now husband, he's like, dude, if you just want to sleep till 9, just sleep till 9. Don't make everybody wake up at 5 so you hit the snooze button for 4 hours. Like, let's be honest. So I was like, okay, my first habit is I'm going to wake up at 5 in the morning. That's my only job. I'm not going to work out. I'm not going to read. I'm not going to journal. I'm not going to do anything. All I knew was I needed to wake up earlier and that I needed to make sure that I did not start my day off being a loser that sits there and hits the snooze button over and over and over and over again. Because once again, you can bullshit a lot of people, but you can't bullshit yourself. So if you're lying to yourself first thing in the morning by hitting the snooze button and procrastinating on it, that sets you up for failure. So my first habit was waking up at 5 a.m. without hitting the snooze button. And all I did was I just sat there on the couch, real pissed. I was really pissed. And I just stared at the wall, like this was my face the entire time. I was so pissed to be up at 5 in the morning. But I was like, okay, I don't care what happens. I'm just going to stare at this damn wall, and we're just going to move on with my life. And that's what I did. That was the first one. One of the other ones was affirmations. Saying things in a true fashion. And when I approach affirmations, I don't approach it from a way of lying to yourself. Because once again, if you lie to yourself, that destroys your self-confidence. So how do you do affirmations that work? Revisit a lot of your accomplishments. What have you overcame? What have you done? Did you launch a business? Did you have a tough conversation? Did you break up with somebody that you knew was not going the same direction you were? Every single one of you has overcame something and has executed on greatness. So what are your real affirmations? For me personally, saving my own life and advocating for my care when it came to this brain surgery and connecting with the top 5 neurosurgeons in the world to make sure I saved my own life, that's a pretty big accomplishment. Being self-educated from the age 9 up, that's an accomplishment, that's an affirmation. So I would encourage you guys to find affirmations and revisit and understand how big of a badass you really are. Because a lot of the times when things hit, you forget how awesome you are. And I know you guys are great, because I've talked to a lot of you, and we deserve to celebrate you as well, and you deserve to celebrate yourself. So I encourage you guys, pick one small thing. One thing you want to transition, one thing you want to improve, one thing that you want to execute on, whether it's the 2 that I just gave you or something else, you know what it is. And go and execute on it. Because we deserve to see what your life would look like if you gave 120. You deserve to see what your life would look like if you gave 120. And all of you, you're in this room for a reason. And you're fucking awesome. So I celebrate you. Much love. Thank you guys.
Come on, Mallisa Jackson! Come here, girl. What you guys don't know, she's been in this room over here throwing up for about a day and a half. I'm like, stay away from me. But anyway, she's not felt good. She had some bad food, and she's like, I don't feel good. And she literally was like, I was like, are you okay? Well, she was supposed to speak yesterday, and she couldn't. And I told her, I said, I said, are you sick or are you just scared to go on the stage behind this guy right here? Come on now. No, I'm joking. I was in there trash talking to her just a while ago, wasn't I? I was trash talking to her big time. She was my sister. I'm like, what's wrong? You scared? You can't get on stage with some of these big dudes? What's wrong with you? But anyway, how many of you guys enjoyed, what a heartfelt message. Come on, girl.
Much love. Thank you guys so much. I promise I'm not sick. I just ate some bad salmon, so I don't have
she's
cooties.
good. I wouldn't get next to her. Say, Russ Yeager, jump up here really quick. Girl, I appreciate you. Love you. Y'all put your hands together and let Mallisa know how much you love her.